There's one image that keeps popping up again and again on TV ads: cereal boxes and morning food packaging. It's the classic picture of a healthy breakfast. You know the type: a slice of golden toast with a dollop of bright red strawberry jam, a bowl of crunchy cereal with a splash of skim milk, or maybe a dainty little muffin next to a steaming cup of morning coffee. Sounds light, convenient, and perfectly in line with that heart-healthy, waist-friendly morning routine. But if we keep waking up with stiff calves, sore feet, or legs that feel heavy and sluggish, then those seemingly harmless breakfast staples might be part of the problem. Because, as it turns out, some of the most popular morning foods are quietly weakening our legs, interfering with muscle recovery, and making aches and fatigue worse, especially in our older bodies. Now, this video isn't meant to scare anyone or tell you what you're never allowed to eat again. What we're doing here is shining a gentle light on some familiar choices that may not be working in our favor. At least not if our goal is to stay strong, steady, and mobile for as long as we can. So if this topic feels a little too familiar, or you've been wondering about those tired legs in the morning, go ahead and tap like. Share this video with your loved ones, and subscribe to the channel, because the truth is, the small choices we make at breakfast can have a big impact on how our entire body moves, and especially how our legs carry us through the day. 1. White toast with jam light on the stomach, heavy on the legs. For many of us, a soft slice of white toast with a little fruit jam might feel like the perfect morning meal. It's easy to chew, quick to prepare, and feels gentle on a stomach that may not handle heavy foods as well as it used to. On the surface, it seems innocent enough: no greasy bacon, no heavy meats, nothing that screams unhealthy. But if we're waking up often with sore legs, stiff calves, or muscle fatigue, this kind of breakfast might be doing more harm than we think. The reason why is that white toast with jam is mostly made up of refined carbohydrates and sugar. It's missing the other critical players like protein, fiber, or healthy fats. As a result, it sends our blood sugar soaring right after we eat, only to come crashing down not long after. And when that happens, our muscles, especially the ones in our legs that just spent hours at rest, can suddenly find themselves running on empty. But the trouble doesn't stop there. When we skip protein in the morning, we're also skipping the chance to support our muscles at the very start of the day. After 60, our bodies naturally lose muscle more easily, and it becomes harder to build it back up. Without enough nutrients to start the repair process in the morning, the muscles in our legs and hips that carry our weight get weaker over time. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that when older adults eat breakfasts high in refined carbs, but low in protein, their ability to maintain muscle strength over time significantly declines. It's no coincidence that many older folks feel wiped out just a few hours after eating a sweet breakfast. That drained feeling, it's not just getting hungry again. Name? It's our body using up what little fuel it got and being left without what it truly needed to rebuild and stay strong. Now, that doesn't mean we have to toss out toast and jam forever. But if this is our go-to breakfast, it's worth adjusting the balance so it actually supports our legs instead of setting them up to struggle. A simple shift can make a big difference. Swapping white toast for whole grain bread gives us more fiber and B vitamins to help keep our blood sugar stable. Instead of sugary jam, we might add a boiled egg, a small piece of cheese, or even a few slices of banana or fresh berries. These small tweaks bring in protein, potassium, and antioxidants, nutrients that our muscles and nerves rely on to stay active and healthy. So no, we don't need to give up our familiar favorites completely, but by making small adjustments, we can keep enjoying breakfast while also giving our legs the strength they need to keep moving confidently through the day. 2. Instant cereal and skim milk. Picture a quiet morning in a typical senior household. The house is still. The air is a little chilly, and breakfast consists of nothing more than a bowl of instant cereal and a glass of skim milk. No pans, no stove, no mess. It feels light, clean, and somehow easier than traditional greasy breakfasts. But what we rarely notice is that this easy feeling comes at a cost. While our stomach might be satisfied for the moment, our muscles, especially in our legs, are missing out on the nutrients they desperately need after a long night of fasting. And slowly, the signs begin to show. The legs start feeling tired faster, the walk across the room feels heavier, and that steady sense of balance we once had, it begins to fade. The real issue lies in this seemingly harmless combo. Instant breakfast cereals, especially the sweetened kind, are often packed with sugar, but very low in protein and healthy fats. Now pair that with skim milk, which has had most of its natural fat removed. And what we get is a meal that sends our blood sugar on a roller coaster. It spikes, then crashes! And for older adults, that mid-morning dip in blood sugar can lead to shaky legs, lightheadedness, and that familiar unsteady feeling while walking. What's more concerning is the absence of protein, the very building block our muscles rely on to repair and grow. Skipping protein at breakfast is like trying to build a house without bricks. Day by day, our foundation weakens, and for us, that foundation is in our legs and hips, the muscles that carry us through every step. But it doesn't stop there. Skim milk also makes it harder for our body to absorb fat-soluble vitamins, especially vitamin D, and vitamin D isn't just about bones, it's vital for muscle strength, calcium absorption, and protecting the structure of our skeletal system. Without protein and without vitamin D, our muscles are left without the tools they need, and weakening becomes almost inevitable. That doesn't mean we have to throw out our favorite cereals for good. What matters is how we build around them. A few small swaps can make a big difference. Choosing a whole grain, low-sugar cereal, tossing in some chia seeds or walnuts, switching to low-fat milk instead of fully skimmed, or adding a hard-boiled egg on the side, these tiny upgrades can turn a weak start into a strong foundation. So if we've been waking up to cereal and skim milk every day, and our legs don't feel as steady as they used to, maybe it's time to revisit the breakfast bowl, because what we feed our body first thing in the morning doesn't just fill the stomach, it fuels our muscles, our energy, and the way we move through the day. 3. Donuts and pastries. Sweet treats that may be weakening your legs. We've all had those mornings. You wake up feeling a little sluggish. Your legs aren't quite ready to move, and your first instinct is to reach for something sweet and comforting. Maybe a donut left over from yesterday, or a soft pastry with just the right hint of cinnamon. It pairs nicely with a hot cup of coffee or tea, and feels like just the thing to ease into the day, especially when you don't have the energy or time to cook something heavier. But from a health perspective, especially when we're talking about aging muscles and joints, these sweet treats come with a hidden cost, and our legs are often the first to feel it. Most donuts and breakfast pastries are made with refined white flour and packed with added sugar. When we eat them on an empty stomach, they cause a sudden spike in blood sugar, which forces our body to release a rush of insulin. Then, just as quickly, our blood sugar crashes. That's when we start feeling that drop in energy, the kind that shows up as wobbly legs, lightheadedness, or that strange reluctance to even get up from the chair. And if we've already been dealing with blood sugar sensitivity or insulin resistance, those effects become even more pronounced. But there's more going on behind the scenes. All that added sugar, combined with the reused oils often found in fried or packaged baked goods, can quietly promote inflammation in our body over time. This low-grade inflammation can damage muscle tissue, slow recovery after movement, and interfere with how well our muscles respond to insulin, which is critical for pulling in nutrients and keeping our legs strong. The result? We start feeling muscle fatigue more easily, especially during long walks or when standing for extended periods. There's another subtle issue that often goes unnoticed. When we start the day with a high-sugar breakfast, our taste buds get trained to crave more sugar later in the day. So lunch and dinner may end up being heavier in refined carbs, lighter on vegetables, and lacking the fiber and protein our muscles need to repair and rebuild. Over time, this pattern chips away at our strength, especially in our lower body. Imagine about a chilly morning. Someone in their 60s steps into the kitchen and spots a donut in the pantry. Not too hungry, not in the mood to cook, so they grab it, add a cup of coffee, and call it breakfast. It feels like a harmless choice, but later that morning, while walking through the grocery store, their legs feel unsteady, and they pause to lean on the cart. It's easy to blame the cold weather or simply getting older, but in reality, that light breakfast may have left their muscles short on the steady fuel they need to support movement. Now, that doesn't mean we have to give up on sweet flavors altogether. There are gentler ways to treat ourselves in the morning without triggering a blood sugar roller coaster. For instance, a slice of homemade banana bread made with whole grain flour, sprinkled with cinnamon and walnuts, offers fiber, healthy fats, and antioxidants that help support our muscles. Or a smoothie with banana and oats can still satisfy the sweet tooth while offering longer-lasting energy. The idea is to shift from quick-burning sugar bombs to balanced, muscle-friendly fuel. So now we've uncovered 3 common breakfast habits that might be secretly sabotaging our leg strength. First, white bread with jam, a combination that spikes blood sugar but doesn't support muscle repair. Second, sugary cereals with skim milk light on the stomach, but lacking the protein and healthy fats our muscles need. And third, donuts and pastries are sweet and comforting, but loaded with ingredients that can inflame and weaken muscle tissue over time. The key takeaway here is to fear food or feel guilty about our choices. It's to understand how each breakfast decision, big or small, affects our body. Because the more we know, the more we can choose foods that help keep our legs strong, steady, and ready for the day ahead. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to our channel so we can keep bringing you more simple, science-backed tips. And we'd love to hear from you. What's your usual breakfast? And have you ever noticed your legs feeling weaker after certain meals? Share your thoughts in the comments. We read everyone,